All right, y'all. I had to figure out how to make the newsletter fun for me today, so I'm in my bathing suit on my porch, and this is what you get. And I just fucking laid out the math for you. This newsletter is called "The Math Behind Why Math Doesn't Work," and my hack to get the numbers in your favor. I might change that. It feels a little too clickbaity for what I'm feeling, but whatever. Some things I want to say to you, viewer, because I know you're listening. And I do, let me know how you're listening to this. Oh God, I see some handprints on my windows, on my apartment, like real high on the door. I'm like, did I do that when I was doing some crazy shit? Gotta clean that. But anyways, are you doing things while you listen to this? Or are you watching it? I need to know. I want data. I like data. I like the idea of data. So basically I wake up every day and I write for an hour no matter what. And that's just me cleaning my brain. That's just me cleaning my brain and getting into the flow of my day. And then I start actually having thoughts, and it's real hard to decide where to start. And I start doing the math. And it's helpful, but it's also a dangerous place for me to get to. And one of the places I was doing the math for was figuring out if I should get this artist studio or not. And there's all these different ways I have of thinking about it. There's something called the stable marriage problem. And I was doing a lot of research on the distribution of preferences in a population for different things. So for example, if a population is evaluated on who they find to be the most attractive out of, let's say, 100 candidates versus what foods they find to be the most delicious, will it be a wider, more variant distribution between what foods they find more delicious than if they more or less agree on who's the most beautiful? And then therefore, if there's a lower variance in who's deemed to be the most attractive, let's just say this is a very shallow example, but let's just say it. There's a lower variance there, then there's more competition for those resources than there would be competition for like good food, for example, in this dichotomy. I don't think the numbers are actually go that way, but that's what I was doing a lot of research into this morning. And then you have that variance of, let's just say, mate selection versus dreams in a population. Is there a wider preference range for what people want to dedicate their lives to? This is what I'm thinking of when I'm trying to think of how I should get the studio. And then there's finances, and then there's gaming the system, and then there's strategies, and those are all fun to think about. But I knew I wanted to get a newsletter done, and all these future topics will be moments where I can put the edge in education, as I want to do, as I'm dedicating my life to doing. But this is what came out of me when I sat down to write the newsletter today. None of that stuff, which it was interesting and it'll come up. But this is what I got. The math behind why math doesn't work. And my fat bod. Oh, I wrote the song Cruisin', the D'Angelo cover of the Smokey Robinson song has been stuck in my head all day. So let me know in the comments before we even get started if you have a song that's on your day or not, and we'll get going. On a spectrum from 1 to 10, where are you, Emma, at in your life right now? I just met this man an hour ago. This is last night. And already we're both at home with one another, applying mathematical scales to life's biggest questions. I wish I could say 10. Actually, I kind of wish I could say 9, not because I'd actually be a 9, but because sometimes 10s are so good that you just know it's simply too good that you couldn't possibly say it out loud. You couldn't possibly ever do it justice, and boy, does it deserve justice. Only the best for that 10. Wait, I had a point. 8, I reply, honestly, and also incompletely. There's always been a part of my soul where God's sun forever shines. The place within me that it illuminates is beautiful, but the biggest blessing of this internal light is its warmth. It makes me feel seen and safe. I can now find this space more easily than I ever could before. The key wasn't actually a key. It was a machete. Bushwhacking through all these weeds until under all this darkness to build reliable paths, plurality, to this sacred garden, my forever home. However, I will not put down the machete yet. The safety I now feel isn't the end of my journey. It's the prerequisite for the future yet to come. This future will require much more bushwhacking. And this is when I start doing the math. There are two types of infinities: countable and, you guessed it, uncountable. Countable infinities, I want to move this. This is better for me. Countable infinities are things that can be listed in a sequence, like the counting numbers themselves, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. You just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and approach infinity without ever quite equaling infinity. Because as soon as you get to your biggest number, you can always add one more, just like how every time I think I hit my 10, I look around for my 11. However, even though it never ends, you could assign a unique position in line to each element in the number line. I love the number line. Uncountable infinities, on the other hand, can never be fully measured, not even in theory. There is just too much. Interestingly, these types of infinities aren't reached by growing, i.e. adding one over and over and over again. They're often about getting smaller. For example, think of all the real numbers between 0 and 1. Firstly, they're all the fractions you could think of: 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6, etc. I wish I had a pretty number line for this one, but I'm not doing graphics. Then there are all the wonky numbers you couldn't even begin to systematize. 0.123456789. Those are fun to think of. Pi over 4, root 2 minus 1, 0.100100001000001 ... Even if you spent forever writing them down, you'd still miss hold for airplane. Holding for airplane. Even if you spent forever writing them down, you'd still miss most of them. They don't follow a pattern. They just exist infinitely densely between 0 and 1. In the last newsletter I hyperlinked, I wrote about my bottomless appetite. That felt good to just come out and say. So relieving. It feels like how you know when some people finally find out they're dyslexic after a lifetime of gaslighting themselves that they were just dumb and think, oh my God, that explains everything. I was like, do I say dyslexic? Do I say autistic? Do I say whatever? Lyme's disease. I was like, what's fucked up to say? What's not fucked up to say? And then I thought dyslexic because I literally have had 2 students who found out they were dyslexic after I started working with them. And it really helped them and their confidence. And it was a really, really eye-opening experience. So that's why I chose dyslexia for that analogy. Anyways, you find out about this diagnosis and finally it makes sense about everything. My diagnosis, for me, I'm hungry. It's true. I've been so hungry that I literally starved myself for 16 years just to prove to myself that I wasn't hungry, and I failed. I'm 30 and I can admit that I failed. New era alert. Exploring the depths of my appetite. That's right now. It's deep. It's a little dark. It's cold. And yet, it's getting warmer and warmer as I get closer and closer to my molten core, but I'm not sure what will happen once I hit my magma because I know I'll be wanting more. I can always take another bite of you, babe. Appetite for love, for food, for thought, for wordplay, for too many things for me to list because it's countably infinite. And besides, I'd rather go and do than stay and say, but these calculations are a matter of life and not life. Given this body, which I've taken for granted for so long, is mortal. Therefore, the number of days I have on this planet is finite. Given number 2, my appetite for life is infinite. You can see we're running into a conundrum. Conclusion, I must strive for the uncountably infinite, the richness of the in-betweens, which is just my brain's way of saying what my body has always known to be true. Just as I hold the infinity between 0 and 1, let alone 1 and 10, in my mind, I hold your body in my arms for this moment of time and feel what it really means to make something count, what it really means to matter. After 30 years of number lines, I see so laughably clearly that math only maths in consideration of the body. I didn't cheat death. I accepted it. So here's how I got 8. I am and will be at an 11 out of 10, and the 11 is just getting higher and higher, and the scale is completely nonlinear, so really who knows what it's going to happen. Because I woke up this morning with a long list of people who I love, who love me too, and guess what? I'm on that list now until the day this body turns to compost. But number 2, one day this body will turn to compost. Number 3, and so will yours. And I'll miss you. Or you'll miss me. Yes, one of us will be missing until it's the other's turn to be missed by others. Yes, the day I'm done living will come long after the day I'm no longer alive. Or, if you read the last bi-week's newsletter, the day I reach the bottom of the bucket will come sooner than the day I reach the bottom of my appetite. My brain tries to help me strategize on how to get the most of life, but time and time again I realize, or rather feelize, through my body and spirit is the only way to explore myself as wholly as I possibly can. For example, I asked ChatGPT a couple months ago, how now fall in love? And Girl Boo tried to explain it to me then, but I had a meta moment myself where I caught myself asking a disembodied being something that I know inherently and anciently. Biblically. Not I mean. So, yeah, I'm writing a fun poem about that. Stay tuned. Anyways, all this to say, I woke up this morning feeling a little down because I love life so much I could die. Because I love life so much, but I'm gonna die. Because I love life so much and I'm gonna die. Long before I satisfy my appetite, so I'm looking forward to looking back on the rest of my life, vowing to make the most of every bite I ever ate. So yeah, that's why I'm sticking with 8. That's the end of that part. And then I go, looking forward, help me. I have ideas at a faster rate than I can execute them, which is still an extremely high rate itself. So prepare yourself for more things coming from me. I'm figuring them out in the only way I know how, which is bravely, which is to mean publicly and in real time. For example, this newsletter can lead into another newsletter about the math and history behind Cantor's diagonalization argument, which is the heart of the theorem that the set of all real numbers between 0 and 1 is uncountable, which is what I talked about today. This would be a deeper dive. A poem I'm writing about love, how it's another set of lungs, which I just got into a festival and I have to decide if I'm going to do it. An update on where I'm at artistically, literally where I'm at, because I'm taking a risk and investing in an artist studio, and I would explain how I've done all the math in all kinds of ways and why I concluded this is a worthwhile investment. A personal reflection on this specific newsletter creation process today, out here on this beautiful day, like fucking looking out at the water and just being in my bathing suit and just doing it. For me and God, I pray for you, and please let me know if you are watching this video. I want to hear everything. Yes, just this process itself was evidence to me that I'm on the right path. There's a bajillion other future newsletters to do. I just have to accept I won't get to them all. Love, my lungs, my love's my native tongue. It's another set of lungs. You help me breathe, dear reader, dear viewer. respiration, inspiration, inspiration. So tell me what questions you have, what directions you're curious about, what is coming to life or death in you. Please, please, please aerate me and let me know by commenting or messaging. Share this with anybody who loves math and science and also loves love. Share this with anybody that you think might like my wacky and making sense, making believe, making love, making change, not making excuses. And yeah, subscribe. I want to start offering more of this putting the edge in education content, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I love you. See you in a bye week.